In Caledonia, we'll be talking football and men's basketball. A little bonus tonight. Coach Sparky McEwen is here, but he's decided to share the spotlight with his two top assistants. The assistant head coaches, Adrian Mcewen and Lavelle Walker, and we'll talk some men's basketball in between. We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming game as the number one team in the nation, Ferris State, comes to Davenport this Saturday for a 12 noon matchup, final home game of the year. So Panther fans, it's your last chance to watch a home game this Saturday, so get out there and watch the red and black as they take on, as we said, the number one team in the land. But Adrian Mcewen, assistant head coach and defensive coordinator, joins us. He's been with the program since it started, right, AJ?
Yep, correct. I've been here since 2015, since the program started, so it's been pretty unique for me being here from the beginning of the program and just seeing it grow from 2015 up to this point now.
You were here with Coach Espo, right?
Yes, sir.
Esposito, yeah,
yes,
so
sir.
that you was right. That's got to be satisfying in a way, because you hear often about coaches coming in and building a program. Well, you literally had to do it. You started from nothing. What was that? Go back to that first year when the guys couldn't even play games.
It was a long process, a very long process. Like you said, not even playing a game the first season. We only practiced throughout the whole season. We had in-game scrimmages, and we kind of created our own games to try to prepare for that following season. But it was definitely unique, and it was a great learning process for all of us.
Coach, you're defensive coordinator. You've had some outstanding defenses under yours. The 2018 team, one of the tops in Division II, and they were first in total defense for a while there, for half the season. That was a special unit, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes out to the players. And we had a great coaching staff as well, but the players did a great job the entire season. We always try to preach being sound and playing fast and creating turnovers.
Okay, that's your overall philosophy. You get new groups in, new players in each year, of course. How do you get them to buy into what you want to do compared to maybe how they played defense in high school or at other colleges?
Right. Well, it's about those seniors. You know, the guys that's playing on the field for us. They have to carry that on to the younger guys, and that's how we try to build year after year after year.
All right, the team is no big secret. Had some challenges offensively this year. The defense has been fairly steady. How would you rate the defense so far this season?
I think throughout the season we've been growing from the beginning of the season. We had a lot of new starters, 10 new starters from the 2019 season. So it was some growing pains early on in the season and even back in the spring. But we have made a lot of growth from the beginning of the season, and we're just looking to keep moving forward against Ferris and then the game after that as well.
All right, before you started on the college road here, Adrian, you played a little arena football.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your experience there and what that was like and what you took out of that in terms of maybe coaching.
Yeah, I played in the AFL for the San Jose SaberCats. I played for Coach Jaren Randle, which is actually in the Hall of Fame. So I learned a lot from him. Not only from him, like you said earlier, I started here with Coach Lou Esposito, who's now at Western Michigan as well. So I learned a lot from those two guys, and I tried to take what I learned from them to try to implement to my own style.
Even step back before that, AJ, you had an outstanding career at Ferris State. You led the GLIAC in interceptions one year.
Yep.
What stands out to you in your recollections of your years in Big Rapids?
I had a great time playing at Ferris. Created a lot of relationships, a lot of brothers that I'm still very close with to this day. So those were some of the best times of my life, and that's the great thing about college is building those relationships.
Now you're out of it long enough. Are you seeing a shift in how the players come into college now, as far as expectations or their willingness to be coached, or is it pretty much the same as when you started?
It's pretty much the same. I would say the biggest difference is guys wanting to play so early on, compared to the past where guys would stick around the program and wait their turn. These days with the transfer portal, if guys don't get on the field early, they could potentially transfer. So
if I ain't starting, then I'm departing.
Yep,
right?
Yep. Especially at the quarterback position. You see it more so at the Division I level, but we get it at our level too as well.
I've heard it's a challenge, especially for Division II players, coaches, in terms of recruiting, because kids are transferring so often. It's hard for you to go out and sell a young player who maybe you see maybe on your defense that maybe might contribute a little as a freshman, but their best years are down the road. But you also got maybe a chance to get somebody else from another school.
Right.
That can play right now. How do you balance those two?
It could be tough. I think the biggest thing is trying to develop a strong culture. If you could develop a strong culture, then guys are more willing to stick around and compete rather than just trying to move on whenever they're faced with any adversity as far as playing time.
You got your undergrad degree from Ferris, but then you got your master's in management from Davenport. What's your dream job, Adrian?
My dream job is to be a Division I coordinator one day and possibly even a head coach or to coach in the NFL one day as a position coach or coordinator. In
order to get that, I mean, what experiences do you have to get? I mean, other jobs, of course, down the line. But what do you have to get? What experience are you looking for in order to get yourself to that eventual goal?
I would say the biggest thing is just gaining more experience, being put in more situations. The more seasons you go through, the more experiences you get to deal with. You go through winning seasons. You might possibly go through some rough times. I think all of those things that you go through is what builds you up moving forward.
You've got, as we say, the top-ranked team in the country coming in this week. But when you played up at their place, the final score was one side in their favor. But a lot of folks don't realize midway through the second quarter, that game was a 3-0 game, if I recall correctly, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us, what did you do well against Ferris that first half?
I think the biggest thing we did well was we went in there wanting to stop the run. That was the biggest thing. Obviously, they have an incredible run game. They have a great scheme over there, and you can't stop everything. You can only hope to try to slow them down, and that's what we tried to go in there and do. And we did that well for almost 2 quarters, and then we kind of wore down there in the second half. So this time around, we just have to try to hold up, for 4 quarters and see what outcome we can get.
And finally, AJ, just kind of generically describe the kind of player that when you're looking at high school or other college players. Tell them the qualities that are most important to you to have them come play defense for you at DU.
The biggest thing is someone who is smart, someone who is passionate and a hard worker and family-oriented. If those guys have all those qualities, then they're the perfect fit for what I want here for my defense.
All right, well, we appreciate you stopping by and keep up the good work with the D, and we look for great things for the Panthers and for you down the road.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Adrian Mcewen, assistant head coach and defensive coordinator, Davenport. We're going to take a break and going to talk a little Davenport men's basketball. Coach Burt Paddock joins us. We'll come back with more here on the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering
All right, now we got us. Okay, got to figure out how to run these dials here.
I can't help you there.
We're on the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's, and we're going to switch gears a little bit, talk Davenport men's basketball. Believe it or not, they're actually playing games this week. In fact, Thursday night, exhibition opener at Illinois State. Veteran coach Burt Paddock joins us here. 13 years. Boy, the time has flown by, Coach.
Rick, I was talking about the other day with a recruit that came over. We were kind of showing him around campus and actually walked through the academic building where my office has now been turned into a nursing center over there where our nursing students are and stuff. So things have changed a great deal, but all for the better. And the vision that they kind of painted for me when I first came there of everything they were going to provide from an athletic standpoint with facilities and stuff has definitely met everything that they said they were going to do, and has allowed us to do some awfully good things to this point.
We can't talk too much about this year without first alluding to last year. At this time last year, not only are you not playing games, you're not even practicing at this time.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing my kids on a daily basis. I felt so bad for them, and I think our institution handled it really well. We were doing everything we could to keep our kids safe, and the safest thing was basically not doing anything and just letting them concentrate on their academics and things like that. And unfortunately, we didn't get to start practicing until right before the very first of the year. Had about 8 or 9 practices in before our very first game, and it was awesome to let the kids play and let get off some of that frustration and go out there and compete and play the game they love to play. But just a tough season for everybody, and glad we were able to get through it, get a few games in, and unfortunately, it just didn't go our way. We were kind of hoping to have a better season than we did, but just looking forward to the next year and the year that's upcoming right now. We got some awfully good players.
You got a late start and kind of reflect back on what it was like playing in empty gyms, because that was something that neither you nor the players had experienced before.
We talked about it a great deal about how you got to be self-motivated, man. If you don't love to play this game, it was going to be a really challenging task, and I'll give those kids a lot of credit. There was times we were practicing with 7, 8, 9 guys, couldn't even play 5-on-5 because of numbers and things, and they did a tremendous job trying to get themselves ready, but just it was a tough time trying to play a season and back-to-back games and stuff against high competition when you're having so few numbers. And you know what? It was one of those things where I think we learned a lot about ourselves, and hopefully the things that we went through last year, the challenges that we faced and on and off the court, made us better people and prepared us for hopefully good things to come in the upcoming year.
Well, one of your standouts the last few years and is coming back again this year, Chris Rollins, and he's two-time first-team All-Conference, and you got him again.
Yeah, I think our best recruiting job this past summer was probably getting Chris to come back. He's such a special kid. He's been an All-Conference player. He's been an All-Defensive League player the last couple of years. Just a great leader for us on the floor. Maybe not your most vocal guy, but definitely one of those guys that leads by example and competes so hard every day. And for us to get him to come back for, it seems like his 10th year in college now, has been great for our young kids. Every day in practice, he really sets the tone. And looking for him to have another outstanding year. Like I said, he's been All-Conference a couple different times, and we've challenged him this year. He should set his sights as high as he can, try to be the player of the year, and I think he's got the talent around him to win enough games to have a chance to do something along those lines.
Coach Burt Paddock joins us here on the Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. If you're listening to us before the football game as part of the pregame show, Davenport football coming up shortly. Coach, you mentioned something there that I think a lot of the fans don't really acknowledge or understand or even are aware of, recruiting players back. Yeah. Because they think once you got them there, then you don't have to do anything. It's a new world out there, and you have to do that.
Don't want to let out all the secrets and whatnot, but it really is, Rick. My assistant coaches are phenomenal. Everybody always says, what's led to some of your successes here? And I think my greatest thing that I've done since I've been here is just hiring the right assistant coaches. They spend so much time recruiting new talent to the program, but more so, like what you just said, just making sure the kids that are here on a daily basis are feeling good about where they're at and giving them the proper surroundings and resources that they need to be successful on the floor, off the floor, academically, all those things. And just making sure those kids know that we love them and trying to make sure when they're done with their playing days that they've got a job, they've got opportunities after they're done here, whether it's playing later on, all those things. But I don't think people do realize that. You feel like you get kids, and back 40, 50 years ago, or even back when I played, when you went somewhere, that's just usually where you stayed and where you worked for 4 years. And nowadays, it was an interesting thing. They did a study with Division I football a couple years ago, and they said that every kid was transferring at least 2.5 times at the Division I level. And I was like, 2.5? That seemed like a crazy number to me. I don't know if that's right or not, but when I go into the portal this year, they have over 1,500 Division I basketball players that transferred. There's only 300 and some schools. That's like five on
every. That's a third of your team.
Yeah, and so when you go through that, it's such a challenging thing for us. We want to take our fair share of high school kids, but we also want to get our fair share of those older kids that can help you compete right away. And it's just it's a challenging thing to try to get the right kids that are going to fit the way you want to play and the way you are on and off the floor, that fit the mold of what you're doing, and to make sure that they fit in with the guys that you have returning so that those returners want to come back and play with those guys.
I'm going to ask you what I just asked Adrian from the football stand, because it certainly applies to you. How do you balance when you're looking at a need on your team? You got one kid here that you're looking at, it's coming out of high school, and you say, might have to bring him along slowly, but I can see in years 2, 3, and 4 he can really be a factor, as opposed to another kid who you can only get maybe for 1 year, but he's ready to go right now.
Yeah.
How do you balance those two?
I wish I could say it was just a point blank. This is exactly how you do it, but I think you got to look at the whole balance of your team. We don't want to have 9 seniors on the team. You don't want to have 10 freshmen on the team at any one time. It has to be a healthy mix. This year we've got 4 seniors. Our classes are pretty balanced. We like to, as you're going through this, you try to find a way to balance out every class so that each year it just makes sense, and yet at the same time trying to put out the best possible product that you possibly can to try to get yourself not only to a conference championship, but hopefully in the national tournament picture, and that's kind of what we're shooting for. That's what we've always been at the NAIA level. It's what we did when winning the league here in our second year, and hopefully what we can get back to this season.
All right, again, let's talk a little bit more about the guys you got coming back from last year besides Chris.
Well, we have Jairus Stevens, who you don't know him too well. He sat out last year, but he was with us last year. He transferred from Tiffin. He was a Division I kid prior to that who averaged almost 18 points, 7 rebounds a game at Tiffin, was a really good player on a team that just didn't win as many games, and he wanted to be a part of something special. And him and Chris Rollins, Chris is one of our best recruiters, actually. Him and Chris go way back. Chris helped recruit him to our place. He is a standout player, man. He is tough, 6'5", plays around the rim, can shoot threes, go off the bounce. He's just one of those kids that he's in his 23, 24-year-old year, and he's just a grown man. And so he's going to play a huge factor in what we do this year. But another kid that has been around, another kid, Sam Jones, was in our program last year but opted out, decided not to play in the games. Another kid that was at Northwestern, then he was at Drake, now he's at our place. He's a 4.0 student. He's working on his master's. Great leader for our team. I mean, he looks like a fullback when he's out there playing. Just a big, big, strong kid. So those are a couple of the guys that have been around and returning, and they're going to play a role in what we're doing this year. We've got a lot of new faces on our team this year, Rick, and I'm sure you're going to get to that. But we've got several Division I transfers. We've got 2 6'10" kids or bigger. One was at Colorado for a while. One was at Toledo for a while. And they're an animal in there. Those 2 kids are as big and strong as any kids we've ever had and have played really well together. They've played really well against each other. Just really excited for everybody to get a chance to see those guys. And then on the wing, we had a couple of guys that some people may not know about, but Leach is a kid that was at Iowa State. Mercedes Leach. He's, man, just a freak athlete. When you look at him, you're thinking, wow, high major kid. Like, he's 21 years old. He's got 4 years left for us. He was at a junior college last year, and because of the pandemic, the year didn't count. And so now he's in our program, and he's a freshman, and you're looking at him thinking like he plays like an old guy. And so really excited about him. Noble Cooper's a kid that transferred from Idaho State, who in junior college shot over 60% from the three-point line for about
60% from beyond the arc.
Yeah, for a good portion of the year. He was leading the country in points per game. 6'5" kid, can really play the 2, 3, or the 4, so he's exciting. And then, one guy I forgot, I don't know, I'd forget Jaren, one of my all-time favorite human beings, but Jaren Randle, who a couple of years ago, if you remember back before he injured his foot, we went to Grand Canyon, won a Division I game, and he throws up 20-some points against them. And so we're incredibly deep. We've got a lot of Division I guys. We've got a lot of high school guys on our team. This is probably the most talented and the deepest team we've ever had here. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win a lot of games. Just talent doesn't win. But I think we've got good chemistry, and our guys love each other, and they play hard for each other. I'm really excited to get down to Illinois State on Thursday and see how we play, and then see how that sets us up to go to Rockhurst for that first weekend for the crossover games.
All right, finally, you had one scrimmage, a closed-door scrimmage against Western Michigan Saturday. What would you like to see the most improvement on tomorrow or Thursday night at Illinois State?
I think it's with any team as you go through the year. I really like how we play. We competed incredibly hard, maybe too hard at times. We lost focus on what we were supposed to be doing. We were fighting and clawing and competing as hard as we could. I appreciated that. But just being able to sustain that for longer periods of time. And I think as you go through the season, you start developing that. You can only get so much in practice. You get into gameplay, and you try to go from playing a good 18 minutes to good 22 to 25 to 30 to where when you get around to March, you hope you're able to put a whole game together and be able to get far in the tournament. And I think we played really, really well down there for about 25 to 28 minutes. And then, the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game, we struggled, took some bad shots, didn't get some stops when we needed to, but played really well. And like I said, Rick, I'm excited for the fans to see our team. I'm excited for you to see them. I'm excited to coach them. I'm excited for people to be back in the stands. I think we've got a really good product for people to come out and see.
All right, we'll do that. It'll be a while before we get a home game, but
yeah.
The week of Thanksgiving is the first home game, right?
Yeah, but we love road trips because we always get good food on the road.
We sure do. All right, and by the way, if you want to listen to that broadcast, we'll have the audio on the Davenport Athletics Network a little before 8 o'clock on Thursday night from Normal, Illinois State. Normal, Illinois.
Illinois State, yep.
All right, looking forward to Illinois State against Davenport on the Dan. I'm going to take one more break, come back, talk a little more football as Lavelle Walker, assistant head coach and linebacker coach, will join us as we continue on with the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed team at Van Dyke on the Lakeshore will work hard to give you a smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200, marioflores.vandykemortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
And we're back, our final segment on the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Thanks all year long to the good folks here at Uccello's for being great hosts. We have one more show next Tuesday, our final Coaches Show from Uccello's for the year. But our final guest, Lavelle Walker, assistant head coach and linebacker coach, and also special teams coach with the Davenport, his 6th year with the Davenport football program. Lavelle, thanks for joining us. Let's first talk a little bit about the special teams element. How much time of your coaching is involved with the special teams as opposed to the linebackers? How do you divide that up?
As best as possible.
Do you feel like you're robbing from one sometime to spend with the other, or how do you work that?
Nah, in our profession, you make time for everything. So in the morning I may do all defensive stuff, working on linebacker stuff and working with Coach Mack on defensive stuff. And then in the afternoon, I will go and hit my special team stuff. And then later on in the evening, if there's anything else I need to get done, I'll get that done later in the evening.
Speaking of special teams, I've had the feeling watching the game that Roy Livingstone in return game is like one ankle tackle away from busting one.
I tell him all the time, you can't get tackled by one person.
Yeah.
And every time you get tackled, you get ankle tackled. So that means we got to get you in the weight room, get your legs stronger.
Get those stronger and stronger as well. Of course, back to the linebacker spot, Kai Black, who played for you, was such a big force. One of the best that you've had, and will be probably 10 years from now. You'll still look back and say Kai Black was one of the best I ever coached.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what made Kai special.
His passion and love for the game. His passion of not to be denied. Like, it didn't matter if it was practice, if it was a warm-up rep. He wanted to win at everything. And if he didn't win, he wanted it right back again. I need to get right back up. I need to get a win. He was hungry. He was hungry for wins and hungry for success, and and he loved the game. Loved the game like no other.
Lavelle Walker, our guest here on the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. Lavelle, prior to getting into college coaching, you started out high school coaching at your own high school alma mater, Lansing Everett. Had a terrific 9-0 team. What did you learn in that year of high school coaching that made you think, I really want to coach in college? Or did you know that before you took that job?
To be honest, I didn't know that I wanted to coach in college football. It just was a blessing that came upon me, and the good man above said, Lavelle, you need to take this leap of faith. And I took the leap of faith, and I'm happy I did it. I've always loved and enjoyed being around young men and helping them be successful and whether it was on or off the field, or be a mentor to them in some type of facet. I've always loved being around, young men in sports in general.
How do you find the time with all the practice responsibilities that you have as a coach? How do you find the time to get it connected with these guys on a personal level, to know what's going on in their mind? Are they having issues at home? Are they having girlfriend issues? Are they having academic? How do you find the time, and how do you deal with that?
Weekly meetings, calling them, texting them, even FaceTiming them. I just as a college football coach, as a mentor, as a teacher of young men, you have to find time within your busy schedule to call your student athletes. Even if you just call them, hey, Liam, how'd your day go today? You need anything? Hey, Bo, say, how you feeling today? You need anything? How's grades? Did you watch the film I sent you? Just finding time out your day to even if it's just a 5-minute call or send a text. Finding time to do those small little things.
Who on this team do you think has grown the most from maybe when they start here, whether they're a second, third-year player? Who's really developed their game on the defensive side that you've been under, or they've been under you, that is really much better today than they were 1, 2, 3 years ago?
Liam Kavanaugh. I got
from West Ottawa.
From West Ottawa High School. I got him fresh out of high school. He had a couple of big-time offers, and I was blessed with the opportunity to get him to commit to me. And he actually played as a true freshman, if you remember. We started him on as a tight end. He came as a linebacker, and he did some great things on the offensive side of the ball. So his true freshman year, he played some tight end, and then we moved him back over to linebacker his sophomore year. But his growth was crazy to me, and that's one thing that I commend him on is the way that he learned and he worked every day, and he took everything that I said, everything that Coach Sparks said, everything that Coach Mack said. He took it to heart, and he listened to everything we told him to do, and he did it. And he's turned out to be a great player, and he's going to be even better because he still has years to play.
You played your first 3 years of college at Grand Valley State. What's it like playing against a school that you used to attend? That's got to be a little different.
A little bit, just a little bit. There's no hard feelings there.
No, shouldn't be.
Actually, crazy story. Coach Matt Mitchell, the head coach there, he was my position coach when I was at Grand Valley. Chuck Martin was the head coach at the time. So I committed to play for those two guys. Coach Mitchell got the head job.
Coach Martin's at Miami of Ohio.
Yes, sir. Talked to him this summer, actually. Caught up with him. But it's always a pleasure playing against people that, actually coached you in college. You talk to them from here to there, time to time, and it's always a pleasure.
And finally, Lavelle, again, you got, no big secret. You got a monster coming to town in the number one team in the nation.
For sure.
What are you stressing to the guys this week when you got a team of that caliber coming in?
Stay tunnel vision. I talked to my guys today after we brought them up at practice. I said, make sure your eyes on the prize. Make sure there's a big task that we have to accomplish this week. Don't lose vision. Don't lose sight of the task at hand. And let's go out here and make the best of this task, and let's go out here and get a win.
Lavelle Walker, thanks for joining us. We pulled you away from some of that Uccello's food. We're going to get that back to you, all right?
I'm trying to eat healthy nowadays.
Way to go there. They got some more. Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up our coaches show tonight. Thanks to our technical wizardry once again provided by the dynamic duo, Awesome Abby and Dynamite Drew. So for our special guests, Adrian Mcewen, Lavelle Walker, and head men's basketball coach Burt Paddock, Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us, and go Panthers.